Can everybody extend their arms without touching or banging into the person next to them? So, yeah, so just arrange the furniture as you need to get that to happen. All right. All right. So let's start with a little breathing. If you want to come right up to the front edge of your chair and have your feet on the floor. Press down into your sitting bones and lengthen up through your spine. Just relax your neck and your head. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes. And just notice the breath as it moves in and out. So we're just starting by noticing the way we're breathing, if the breath is shallow, if it's deep, if it's fast, if it's slow. Maybe you're noticing one side, it's a little easier to breathe through one side than the other. And can you notice the temperature of the air as you breathe in and the temperature of the air as you breathe out? And then notice it's not just a inhalation and an exhalation, but there are pauses between each as well. So we breathe in and then there's a little bit of a pause, and then we breathe out, and then there's another little bit of a pause before we breathe in again. So the breath actually has 4 parts to it, if we look at it in that way. And now what I'll invite you to do is to lengthen each of those. So the inhale, the pause, the exhale, and the pause. And see if you can lengthen each of those by slowly counting to 4 as you do each. So you're going to inhale very slowly, counting to 4. You're going to pause and hold that breath in, slowly counting to 4. You'll exhale to a slow count of 4. And then you'll hold your breath out for a slow count of 4. So some people call this the box breath. Some people call it 4-dimensional breathing. So it's whatever kind of works for you. You're counting to 4 as you inhale, hold, exhale, and then hold. So each of those. And as you're doing this 4-dimensional breathing, just notice which parts of it you feel more comfortable with, which parts of it you like more. So maybe you prefer breathing in and holding your breath in to breathing out and holding your breath out. Or maybe it's the reverse. So with everything, with every movement, with everything we do, we have our preferences, what we like and what we dislike. And sometimes it's good just to identify those things. And then you can gradually let go of all that control, let go of the counting. You don't have to breathe deeply, just return to your natural breath. So however your body breathes on its own. And you can let your eyes gently open. Okay, so we're going to start our movement with a very small little exercise here. So I'm going to just have you turn just your head to the right, not your shoulders, so you're not turning your whole body. It's just your head turned to the right. Turn as far as you can. And I want you to take note of what you can see in your direct vision and what you can see in your peripheral vision. So you're kind of scooting your eyes around there, see if you can what you can see there. And then take a mental snapshot of what you can see. Close your eyes to kind of lock that snapshot in place. And then turn your head back to center. Open your eyes. And we'll turn to the left. So same thing, it's just the head. You're not turning your shoulders. You're not turning your body. And you're just turning to see what you can see in your direct vision, what you can see in your peripheral vision. Close your eyes and take a mental snapshot of that. And then turn your head back to center and let your eyes gently open. And then just let's do some yes movements for the neck and head. So we're just going up and down. Go up as far as feels okay for you. So if you come up and you get any kind of pinching in the back of your neck, you're just going to not go up quite so far. See if you can exaggerate a little bit on the down. So when you get your chin down, see if you can bring it down a little more. A lot of us could use that extra stretch in the back of the neck. And the next time that you have your chin down toward your chest, you're going to hold here. And now with your chin down as close to your chest as you can go, you're going to open your mouth and see if you can bring your jaw, the chin part of your jaw, right down into the notch between your collarbones. So open your mouth and bring your chin down to your collarbones. And then relax. And we'll do that 4 more times. So you're opening your jaw, trying to get that chin down to the collarbones. And 2 more times. And 1 more time. Good. And then a little gentle yes movement up and down. Okay. And then you're going to come up as high as you can, so you're looking up as high as is comfortable. And then you're going to back that off by about 50%. So come down a little bit, right? So if this is my range, I'm going to come down about 50% of that. So here I am, I've got my chin lifted a little bit. Now we're going to take the jaw, we're moving the jaw again. We're going to take the jaw and we're going to move it out like that and back. So lift it out and back. It's like you're trying to create a really severe underbite, right? I think of those little dogs with the long hair. They get the little underbite there. So you can feel that in your neck, right? In your jaw, maybe even into your ears, your shoulders. We're just kind of pushing the jaw out and then letting it relax. And 1 more time. Good. And then a couple of yes movements. Great. Okay, and then back to sort of that center position. We're going to take the right ear to the right shoulder, but don't bring the shoulder to the ear. And pull that shoulder, pull that ear over a little bit more, and then come up, and we'll go to the other side. So the left shoulder goes to the left ear, but left ear goes to the left shoulder, but the shoulder doesn't go to the ear. That's what I'm trying to say. Good, and you're breathing. And then up, and we'll go back to that right side again. So we're trying to get the ear close to the shoulder, but the shoulder just doesn't care. The shoulder's just hanging out there. So we're going to hold here, and we're going to move the jaw again. So this time, with your ear close to your shoulder, I'm going to have you open your mouth and see if you can get your jaw close to your shoulder too. So it's kind of like this, right? It's that weird little movement. Okay, trying to move your jaw down toward the shoulder. And really pull the jaw down. And notice where you feel it. You might feel it in the neck, you might feel it in the jaw, you could feel it in the ear, the eye, the shoulder. So there's something going on that left side when we pull the jaw down into the right. And you're just pulling it down and then relaxing. And how about one more time? And then come up to sort of that center position. Take a moment, just kind of notice left and right. And then we'll take the left ear to the left shoulder. So we get the left ear on the left shoulder. And then let's take the jaw and we're going to bring it down closer to the left shoulder. So open your mouth and up, bring your jaw down. And bring your jaw down. So do that a couple more times. It's kind of a strange movement, but it's one that's necessary when you chew, right? So the jaw just doesn't open and close like a hinge. There's a little roundness to the movement, especially when you're chewing something that has like some texture to it, all right? So something that's fibrous maybe. Okay, how about one more time? Great, and then bring your head back up to center. Let's do a couple of yes movements here. Couple of yes movements. Okay. So one more movement we're going to do here. I'm going to have you, we're going to be turning the head from left to right, but we're going to turn the head by using the tongue to push into the cheek, okay? So it's hard to talk this through, so I'll have to show you and then do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the tongue into the right cheek and then turn the head. You can close your eyes to do that, and then you're going to turn your head as far to the right as it'll go, but you keep pushing the tongue as hard as you can push your tongue. So it looks like this. So there's like a big bulge in my cheek. And then come back to center. So that's sort of the movement. So we'll go to the right side doing that, and then we'll go to the left side doing that. So there's a couple of things I want you to pay attention to. You're going to have your eyes closed when you're doing this, or your gaze kind of down. And I want you to pay attention to what you're feeling in the cheeks, right? So you got muscles here in your face. So what you're feeling there, what you're feeling in your jaw, what your breathing is like. Does your breathing change when you're doing this as well? So when you're ready, we'll start with the right. So push your tongue into your cheek, close your eyes, and turn to the right. Keep pushing your tongue. Relax and come back to center. We'll go to the other side. So push your tongue into your left cheek. Turn to the left, closing your eyes or looking down. Push your tongue into your cheek. And then come back to center. And one more time on the right, pushing the tongue into the cheek. Eyes are down or closed. And back to center. And then to the left, the tongue goes into the left cheek. And turn to the left with your gaze down or your eyes closed. And then come back to center. Good. So now just open and close your mouth a couple of times. So just kind of exercising those muscles a little bit. And then we'll roll the shoulders up and down and around. Up and down and around. Okay. And then let your arms hang off of your lap, so they're just kind of hanging down. And last time I had you bring your ear to your shoulder, but your shoulder wasn't interested in your ear. And now your shoulders are interested in your ears, but your ears aren't interested in your shoulders. So you're going to lift your shoulders up, but keep your head nice and long. So don't do this. So we're keeping the head nice and long, and then we're going to lower down. So let's see if we can do that nice and slowly. Lift up and slowly lower down. And as you lower down, pull the shoulders down, right? So you're slowly lifting up and slowly lowering down. It's like you're lifting and lowering suitcases, right? So you remember suitcases? Yeah, before we had all these wheelie things, right? So you're lifting and lowering. Now, as you do this and you're breathing, notice what's happening in the back of your body. Can you feel your shoulder blades when you lift up? Can you feel your shoulder blades lifting up? And when you pull down, can you feel your shoulder blades pulling down, right? So there's that sense of lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. How about 2 more times? And really exaggerate the ends. So when you lift up, lift, 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 and squeeze your shoulders up, but don't squeeze your neck down. And when you lower down, pull the shoulders way down as far away from the ears as they'll go. And last time. Lift, lift, lift. And slowly lower. And then go back to sort of that neutral position. You can return your hands to your lap, just kind of noticing the tops of the shoulders. And then we're going to take the hands off the lap, bring your hands out. So it's like you've got like a serving tray. Yeah, like a serving tray. So we're just going to go forward and out to the sides. Forward and out to the sides, right? So it's that movement, that motion. Okay. So now what you're going to do when you come forward, I'm going to have you take your elbows and tuck them in close to your ribs. So it's like you're trying to squeeze your ribs with your upper arms and your elbows, right? And you're going to hold your arms and you're going to hold your elbow to your shoulder in this position. In other words, we're not going to let it come off the body. We're going to hold it in this position and go out and in. It's going to be a much smaller movement for a lot of us, right? So we're working, so some of what we're working on today, we did this last week actually. I started doing this with you guys last week with some of the muscles that create the rotator cuff in the shoulder. And we don't get a lot of this movement when we're in like exercise classes. We do this in PT when the shoulder's already injured, right? We do these exercises then. So the next time that you have your arms out, you're going to hold here. So keep those elbows in really close, right? So you can feel the upper arms really working to keep the upper arm in. And you're pulling, it's like you're pulling the thumbs behind you a little bit. Keep breathing. Good. Okay, and then let's go out. It's like we're going to serve. So extend your arms and then pull them in and bring those elbows in nice and tight. And extend and bring the arms out and try not to spill your trays. And in. So a couple more times going out and coming back. Good. And it's the end of range that we really want to concentrate on. So when I get in here, I'm really going to tuck my elbows in as tight as I can. And when I get out here, I'm really extending the elbows as much as I can. How about one more time in each direction? Good. And we're going to hold out here. So we're in this position. So look out and make sure your hands are a little lower than your shoulders. Yeah, because usually when your arms are above your shoulders, this is what happens to the shoulder tops. So I want to drop the shoulder tops down. And all we're going to do now is we're going to turn the palms down and then around as far as the hands will go. And then we're going to reverse and breathe. Now, if this is too much, if you need to bring the arms down here a little bit, if you need to bring them down here, you can bring them down there. So I want you to just go where there's a little bit of a challenge, where it's not super easy, but not where there's a problem, right? So not where there's pain. So as you're doing this now, let's get a little more of the chest and the upper back involved. So when you come forward with your hands, in other words, when you turn your palms down and you round, I want you to round your shoulder tops as well, right? And then when you come the other way, I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together and open your chest. So we're rounding as we come forward. So see if you can feel that movement from your fingertips all the way up to your shoulders and your neck. And it doesn't matter when you inhale or exhale, but just that you're doing that breathing in a really smooth and comfortable way. So if you're, in other words, if you're holding your breath somewhere or the breath starts to get really choppy, I want you to just go to a place where you can breathe smoothly with this. So just a couple more of these. We're going to ask a lot of the shoulders here in this first part of class this morning. But we know we can do it. And how about one more in each direction if you can? Good. And then relax that. Let your hands come to your lap. Close your eyes. You can roll your shoulders a little bit if that feels okay. Or you can just relax them. Let them be comfortable here. Taking in a breath, let it out with a sigh, let your eyes open. Good. Let's take the arms up at 90 degrees. So it's kind of like a little cactus here, right? So you want to make sure your shoulders, again, your shoulder tops aren't way up here. Just kind of drop them down a little bit. And then keeping the upper arms level. So in other words, we're not moving the upper arms up and down. We're just going to rotate the lower arms down and up, right? It's like, I think of the lineman signs. If you travel like to Maine, they have linemen instead of cops doing the details, right? And they always have a sign, and they're always like in this position, right? So just kind of up and down. And then see if you can vary it, right? So one goes up and one goes down. And again, you're just exploring the range, right? So when I go down on one side, can I really go down? Can I keep the elbows bent as I do this, right? So it's easier to start to straighten the arms, but can I keep the elbows bent? And am I breathing? So that's always the question, right? What's my breath like right now? How about one more time? This is a lot. Good. And then relax that. Let your arms come down and rest on your lap. Close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths, feeling the shoulders there. Oof. All right, let's rotate the shoulders up and around. And let's get the arms involved too. So get your elbows up there. Circle up and around. And then if it's okay, get your whole arm. So we're doing some nice big circles here. Breathing in and breathing out. Going through that whole range. The next time your arms are down toward the floor, you're going to reverse the direction. So whatever direction you were going in, you're switching it up now. And you're breathing in and breathing out. And if that's not available, you're down here. You're doing whatever rotation is available to you, right? So this is the most you can do maybe, and this is maybe the least you could do is down here, right? Good. How about one more time? Excellent. And then hands rest on your lap. So something we started last week, so we're doing kind of a focus on the rotator cuff muscles. Those are the muscles that keep your shoulder healthy and strong. And we're going from kind of simple movements to more complex movements, right? So we've done some pretty simple movements so far. So we're going to do a little bit more complex movement. So now take your right arm and sweep it around behind your back and reach it as far over to the left as it'll go. And then reach back there, give it a little bit of a tug. So it looks kind of like this, right? So I'm just kind of pulling that arm over a little bit. And then release that and take the left arm, bring the left arm behind, grab it with your right hand and give it a little tug. Just a little tug. Let's go back to the first side again. So we're just taking that right arm back. See how far it'll go. Notice what you feel there, right? Give it a little bit of a tug. Relax that. Left arm. Same thing, a little bit of a tug. Whoops. And then relax that. Okay, so just kind of relaxing. So we've got this movement where we bring the arm behind the back. Now that's a movement that you know, when you get dressed in the morning, some of your clothing, you need to be able to get your hands back there to do that. But sometimes we find workarounds if we lose that ability. This is a way to regain that. So I'm going to show you our next move. I'm going to have to turn my back to you for a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the right arm behind like we just did, and then we're going to try and lift that hand up, right? So maybe I get my hand up to here, and I can start to feel it. Maybe I can get my hand way up here, right? So anywhere in that range. So I'm trying to get my hand to make a movement up toward the center of the body, right? Okay, so let's start with the right. We're going to bring it behind, right? And if it helps, you can use that left hand to pull it over a little bit more, and then see if you can get the hand up your back. Now, again, it can be here, it can be right on your waist, it could be up a little higher, it could be up even a little higher than that. So we're just kind of holding that up there, and then you're going to take a couple of breaths in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, I want you to notice what you feel here in the front of the right shoulder, into the right arm. Good. And then you can slowly release that arm, bring it back around, give it a moment. So that was a complex movement, right? That's a complex movement for the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, the hand a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So you're going to bring your left arm behind you, bring it as far behind as you can. If it's helpful to pull it over a little bit, especially if you don't have that great kind of range there, you can do that. And then we're going to try and take that bottom, that left hand up the back a little bit more, right? So again, whatever works for you. If this is it, if this is where you go, that's where you go, right? So we're trying to explore what movement do we have available in that shoulder. And it may be different than the other side in your breathing. And as you're breathing, you're noticing what you're feeling in the front of this left shoulder now. Then you might need to deepen your breath in order to feel that, right? And then release that and bring that arm back around. Take a moment and just kind of notice left side, right side. Okay, we're going to do that one more time on each side. And when we do now, as we bring the hand up the back, so I'm bringing the arm down, and then I'm going to bring the hand up the back. I'm going to push the back of this hand into my body, wherever it is. So maybe it's here, I'm pushing it into my ribs. Maybe it's up here, I'm going to push it more into the upper part. So we're going to focus on pushing the back of the hand into the back of the body. So let's take the right arm, bring it around and behind. Bring the hand up as far as it'll go. And now push the back of the hand into your body. And with the back of the hand pushing into the body, I want you to focus your breath on where that contact is between the back of your hand and your body. See if you can breathe into that space. As you inhale, can you feel some movement there? Maybe it's the ribs, maybe it's the muscles. Maybe you're up near your shoulder blade and you can feel your shoulder blade moving. Good, and then release that. Bring that arm back around. Take a moment, just kind of notice. And then take your left arm, same thing, we're going to bring it behind, bend the elbow, bring that hand up as high as it'll go. Push the back of the hand into your body. So you're pushing the back of the hand into your body, you're activating some of the muscles here in the arm and around the shoulder. And then as you breathe in and out, see if you can focus your attention into that spot where the back of your hand is pressing into your body. Can you feel some expansion and contraction there? Maybe just feel your hand moving across your shirt. Maybe you actually feel some of the muscles in there, or you feel where the rib cage is expanding, and it's a lot harder to feel in this part of the body, right? But maybe you feel the rib cage expanding and contracting a little bit. And you're breathing smoothly. So you want to be on that edge here where there's some discomfort. There's a little bit of challenge to this. It's not super easy, but it's not so difficult that it's painful or causing you to hold your breath. And then you can release that and bring that arm back around. So take a moment here, just kind of notice right side, left side. All right, and then let's go to the right side, and we're going to bring that arm up as high as it'll go. So again, if you're working with something that only allows you to go this high, that's where you're going to go. And you're going to tap your shoulder. You're going to come up and all the way down. And same thing on the left side. So go up, tap the shoulder, up and down. And breathe as you're doing this, right? So we're just reaching up, getting some length, tapping the shoulder, getting some length, and then coming back down. So get as tall as you can on that side. Good. How about once more on each side? Good. And this can be pretty challenging. This is a fairly This is a movement we don't do very much, right? And then that's it. So a lot of times we don't reach for things. You know, we get the stool out and get up a little higher instead of like getting on your tiptoes and trying to reach up for something. Okay, so we're going to take all of those, or both of these last movements, and we're going to kind of merge them together, right? So we're going to take the right arm behind the back, and then we're going to take the left arm up and overhead at the same time, okay? Right? I know. Wow. Yeah. We're really going to do that. So take your right arm, bring it around behind your back, right? And then you're going to bend the elbow and bring that hand up your back, right? So we're doing this. So we're getting the hand up the back as high as it'll go. Only I can do it. No, you all have to do it. Okay, so we got that hand there. You doing okay? All right. Take your left arm up overhead. Reach, reach, reach. Get really long. Bend your elbow and reach back there and see if you can get your fingers close together. Can you get your fingers close together? If you can, grab your bottom hand with your top hand. Good. Keep breathing. Good, good, good. And then, what's that? That's how you soap your back. Yeah, if you want to really wash thoroughly, that's what you got to do. And then release all of that, right? Whew. So just kind of notice. That is a pretty complex movement. So we're getting rotation in the shoulder. We're getting extension in the shoulder. We're getting some rotation in the elbow, the wrist, the hands. All right, let's do the other side. So left arm comes behind. Bend the elbow and bring that hand up your back as high as it'll go. Take your right arm up overhead. Reach, 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 get long, then bend the elbow and reach back there and grab your bottom hand with your top hand. Yeah, and keep breathing. See if you can lift your right elbow up a little higher, right? Ooh, if your head's in the way, just bring it forward a little bit. That's okay. Good. And then release that and let that come all the way back. Whew, rest your arms for a moment. Close your eyes, take a breath in and out. So who noticed that one side was a little more mobile than the other? Isn't that so interesting, right? Yeah, something to kind of work on too, to kind of even things up. So if it's harder for you to get this arm behind you and up, work on that a little bit more. You know, it's something you can do. It's something you can do anytime. You know, if you're just standing in line somewhere. Right? Just kind of bring your arm behind you a little bit. Show people what you can do. They think you're hiding something, right. Yeah, then you can just turn around and show them, right? Okay. All right. So remember at the very beginning, I had you turn your head and take a little mental snapshot, right? We're going to bring those snapshots out. We're going to review our photo album here this morning. So sitting up nice and tall, you're going to turn just your head to the right. Just your head, not your whole body. Just your head. Turn as far to the right as you can. Look out over that shoulder. Notice what you see in your direct vision. Notice what you see in your peripheral vision. And then see if you can call up the snapshot you took at the beginning and compare the two. And then come back to center. Difference over there? Yeah. And we did very little neck work. We did a whole lot more with the shoulders, right? Okay, so let's do the same on the other side. So it's just your head. It's not your whole body. It's just your head. Turn to the left. Go as far as you can. Notice what you see in your direct vision. Notice what you see in your peripheral vision. Call up the snapshot you took on this side. And notice if there's a difference. Compare and contrast those. And then come back to center. Difference on that side too? Yeah, pretty remarkable, right? So we have all this range. And you know, unfortunately, we lose the range, and this is a good example because you see that you can get it back, right? It's not that we don't have it because we're a certain age, it's that we don't have it because we don't use it. So just doing some simple movements daily can regain that pretty quickly for us, you know? So we don't have to go, oh, I gotta see what's going on behind me. We can actually just sort of look behind us a little bit. Okay. Let's give that upper body a little bit of a rest. We did a whole ton with shoulders today. So we're just going to start by bringing the feet underneath the knees. We're going to go right down to those toes, and we're going to lift and lower the toes. So keep your tripods on the floor. That's the heel, the big toe knuckle, and the little toe knuckle. You're keeping those on the floor, and you're lifting and lowering just your toes. And you all should be, those of you who've been here for a while, you all should be doing this like every chance you get, right? I should be like a little earworm in your head. Lift and lower your toes. Lift and lower your toes. Okay, and then let's bring the toes down. We're going to keep the tripods down. We're going to keep the little toes down, and we're just going to lift and lower the bigs. Lift and lower just the bigs. And if you're assisting, you can just hold the littles down as you lift and lower the bigs, right? So that's the way you would assist that. And you're breathing. And then the bigs stay down, and we're going to lift and lower the littles. So same thing. If you need to assist your toes, you're holding the bigs down, and you're lifting and lowering all the littles. So the bigs stay down on the floor. Okay. And then relax all the toes for a moment. Okay. So let's lift all the toes up, but keep the tripods down. So you're pushing a little more into the knuckles here on the toes, right? You make sure that's pretty anchored in there. And now keeping your littles lifted, you're going to lower and lift just your bigs. Lower and lift just the bigs. If you need to assist, you're going to reach down there and hold all the littles up. And make sure you're breathing. Nice job, everybody. Good. And then lift everybody up. We're going to hold the bigs up, and we're going to lower and lift all the littles. So we're working the intrinsic muscles in the bottoms of the feet. Intrinsic just means the muscles that live on the bottom of the feet. You have intrinsic muscles, and then you have something called extrinsic muscles. Those are muscles that actually live in the lower leg, and the tendon is what connects it into the bottom of the foot. So this is for intrinsics here. Good, and then lift everybody up, spread them out nice and wide, lower them all the way down, give them a little bit of a rest. So we've got three structures in the bottom of the foot that comprise the arch. We've got this, what most of us call the arch of the foot, which is here. That's only a third of the arch, actually. We've got another third out here. We just worked a little bit of that, and we're going to work something in the middle that goes across, like right here. It's the transverse part of the arch. So what we're going to do now is lift all the toes up, keep the tripods on the floor, spread your toes out nice and wide, press your bigs down and your last toes down, but not your middle toes. That's the toughest one, right? We go from easy to tough, you guys. That's how we go. And then relax everything. And we'll do that a couple more times. So lifting up all the toes, spread them out like you're trying to play the piano, right? So you're spreading your toes out, and then you're going to press your bigs down and your last ones down, but none of your middles. And relax. Good, and breathe. Lift up all the toes, spread them out nice and wide. Press the bigs down, press the last ones down, but none of the middles. Good, and relax all of that. Excellent. Let's come up and stretch in a Barbie foot on one side. And we'll stretch Barbie foot on the other side. So as we do this little Barbie foot stretch, you can push a little bit more into your foot, almost like you're going to stand up. Go back to the first side and push down. Go back to the second side, push down. We'll do that one more time on each side, so just kind of stepping back into a little Barbie foot there. Good. And then when we go back to the first foot, you're going to go like the opposite of a Barbie foot. You can use your, if you don't have a towel, you can use your sock or something. And you're going to push the top of the foot like you're doing this, right? So you're kind of stretching the top of the foot up into the front of the ankle. If you slide your foot underneath your chair a little bit, put a little more pressure on it, you'll feel that. I can come up into the ankle, even into the knee, the lower leg. A lot of us get tight in the front of the ankle. And then you can relax that. Let's go the other side. So just kind of doing this little stretch here on the top of the foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's go back to that first side. Good. And if you're feeling a little crampiness in the back of your lower leg, that's a pretty good indication that you could use a little more of this kind of stretch. And then we'll go to the other side. What often happens is when the muscles get a little tight in the back of the leg, when you approximate them, when you bring them the muscle fibers a little closer together, that's when it starts to spasm. That's what happens at night when you're in bed. And then we'll go to that first side again. Because usually when you're in bed at night, your foot is in this more pointed position because the sheets are tucked in to the bottom. And then we'll go back to that second side. Great. Okay, relax all of that. All right, let's bring the feet forward so you've got your heels on the floor. And you can have a little bend in your knees, that's fine. And we're just going to squeeze and extend the toes. Let's do that with the hands as well. So we're squeezing and extending feet and toes. So it's like you're making a fist, and then you're bringing a starfish, right? So when you extend, you're not just lifting your toes up, but you're spreading them out wide like you're doing with your hands. So we're doing the same movement, right? So we're doing fists and starfish. Fists and starfish. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. So let's do this. Let's try just the right side and left side going together, right? So on the right side, we're making a fist, and on the left side, we're making a starfish, and that's with both the hand and the foot, yeah? And then we're switched, so we're just going from side to side. So the hand and the foot on the same side are doing the same movement, all right? And you can bring your hands, let your feet see your hands. Maybe that'll help, right? So look here, this is what we're doing. And you're breathing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then relax everything. Okay. So doing that is, that can be challenging, but it's something that our brains can handle because the brain is more comfortable when we do the same thing on the same side, right? The brain is more comfortable because that's how we walk, right? We do sort of this movement in our walk. So let's change this up a little bit and make the brain work a little harder this morning. So we're going to get the feet in that position again with the heels on the floor, legs extended. You can have a little bend in your knees or a bigger bend in your knees. Hands are up. So I'm going to go through this really slowly. Take your right hand into a fist and your left foot into a fist. Take your left hand into a starfish and your right foot into a starfish. Right, so we've got the opposite. So we've got a fist going across the body and we've got a starfish going across the body. Okay, so relax all of that. Make a fist with your left hand, a fist with your right foot, a starfish with your right hand, and a starfish with your left foot. Right? No. Relax all of that. Okay. So your right hand is a fist. Left foot is a fist. Left hand is a starfish. Right foot is a starfish. Good? Got that? Let's do that rest period one more time, right? So rest in between. So now we're going to do the right hand is a starfish. Left foot is a starfish. Left hand is a fist. Right foot is a fist. So it's just the opposite, right? So if it helps to cross your arms to do it that way, you can do it that way. Right? Sometimes it's just a visual thing, you guys. Sometimes it's just the brain. You can trick the brain by just crossing the limbs. So let's see if we can do that without that little rest in between. We're not going to go fast, but we're just going to see if we can transition without that rest in between. So if you start with your left hand in a fist and your right hand in a fist and your left foot in a fist, your left hand in a starfish and your right foot in a starfish, right? If you want, you can cross your arms. You might try this and see how it works, and then see if you can switch those. Right? So as we switch, we're going across the body. If you have your arms crossed, you might notice it's a lot easier. Can you notice that? Yeah. So we're kind of tricking the brain. We're saying to the brain, oh, everything on the right side is doing the same thing. Everything on the left side is doing the same thing. You got that? Okay. No? Okay, keep at it. That's all right. So if you have this and you're feeling really comfortable with it, see if you can uncross your arms. That's okay. Cross the arms again. It's fascinating, isn't it? It's harder uncrossed. Yeah, it's way harder uncrossed. And it's even harder uncrossed if you bring your arms way out to the sides. Right? Because now we're way out in space. Good. Is anybody breathing? Good. Let that all go. Very interesting, huh? Different ways to kind of hack the brain. So when we think, oh, I can't do this because it's like so confusing, we can figure out a way to get the brain used to this, and very slowly, if you practice this at home and you do it with your arms crossed, very slowly, then just cross at your wrists. Then try closing your eyes. Right? Because sometimes just taking the visual piece out might help you go from a crossed arm to a non-crossed arm to do it. You do. Because it's repetition. It's like if you've lived in your house for, several years, and you go to your front door and you put the key in the lock and you turn the lock and you open the door, right? You don't even think about that. It's muscle memory. It's neurological memory. It just happens. If you go to your front door and you use your other hand and you try the same thing, there's a lot going on because your brain is saying this doesn't work. I don't know how to turn that key. It's like, how do I even put the key in the lock? So it's the same thing. It's about training it. So if I do this training over a period of time, it's like, oh, I get the thing. I don't even have to think about it. Because when we're trying to do cross body, the brain is way too involved. It's like, it's not a automatic, yes, thank you. It's not an automatic thing that we do. So we can make it more automatic by repeating it. All right, so fun with feet. I love that. So sit back in your chair a little bit. Let's just extend the legs, and we're going to do some point and flex, a little point and flex at the ankle, so we get those ankles going a little. And then let's make some big rotations, so nice and slow at the ankles. You can go in the same direction, you can go in opposite directions. Just kind of mix it up. So this is about getting some flexibility and mobility in the ankles. You can do kind of a syncopated rhythm, so you're like going up and around in one direction and the other. And I'm sneaking in some thigh work here, did you notice? Yeah, so we're getting a little thigh work in here too at the same time. And then bring your feet out as far as they'll go and then in. So let's get that rotation way up into the upper legs, right? Can you feel that in the upper legs? Yeah. Right into the hips. So if you remember, I was talking probably a few weeks ago about the hip socket, right? Your hip is actually where your leg bone comes into your pelvic socket. That's your hip. So when people will say, oh, my hip, they'll touch the back, the front, the sides. And it's kind of colloquial, that's what we use, but that's really your pelvis. Okay, how about one more time out, and one more time in, and then relax and bend. And then let's just bend and extend one leg and then the other. And getting a little bit of movement here at the knee, Good. All right, how about just one more time on each side? Great. And then come forward. Scoot over to your right side. So we're just going to take that right foot, walk it out, and walk it back. That's it. We're just walking it out and walking it back. So as you walk it out, notice how far you can go. And the next time you're way out there, you're going to hold it in that position, just kind of look down, and then come back about 50%. So like right in the middle, sort of. Go back about 50%, and then we're just going to drop the knee in and pull the knee out. So we're dropping in and pulling out. And let your foot come up off the floor. So when you drop your knee forward, let the outside of your foot rise up, and when you bring your knee back, bring the inside of your foot off the floor. That takes all of the movement up into the hip. If your foot's on the floor, you're going to be limited by the range of movement at your ankle, usually. So this takes the ankle out of the picture. This is all about the hip. We're going up and back and up and back. Good. Just one more time, in and out. Great. And then walk your foot in. We're going to scoot all the way over to the left side, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're walking out and walking back. And walking out and walking back. So we do this a few times just to kind of get that range in there, see what we can feel. Next time you walk out, you're going to stay out here. Notice that distance, and then come about halfway. And then we're just going to drop the knee in and pull it out. And come up on the inside of the foot and come up on the outside of the foot. Now, if this is super easy, by the way, at the halfway mark, I didn't say this on the other side, but if this feels really easy, come out a little bit more than halfway. So the farther the left knee is away from the right knee when we do this, the more challenge it is. So I like to start about halfway because that's usually doable for most folks. And it's a good way to say, you know, that's good enough on this side, right? Now you'll notice if you have had a hip replacement or you've had hip surgery, you may have a different relationship to that movement on that side. And usually the knee going out is a lot harder, or more limited, I should say. It's more limited than the knee going in. Okay, one more time each side. Great. And then we can release that and come all the way back. Come back to the center of your chair. And now we're going to take the right ankle and we're going to cross it on top of the left knee. Now, if this is not something that is available to your body, you're just going to take your left leg and extend it out a little bit, and then you're going to try and bring that right ankle up as high as it'll go, right? So maybe it's kind of the middle part of your shin. Maybe it's up a little bit higher than that. But if you can cross here, I'm going to demonstrate it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the muscles in the leg and the hip, and we're going to lift that knee up. So don't use your hands. And then we're going to pull the knee down. Right? So you can have your hands like maybe resting on your ankle or resting on that other leg. So we're lifting up, and then we're pulling down. And lifting up and pulling down. And if you're down here, you're doing the same thing. You're lifting up and then you're pulling down. So no matter where you're at with this, right? And the next time that you are pulling your knee down toward the floor, I'm going to have you continue to pull the knee down toward the floor. And then I want you to think about bringing your belly forward. So you're not bending forward like this. You're trying to bring your belly forward, right? It's like you're trying to bring your whole torso forward a little bit, and you're still pulling your knee down toward the floor. So let's back off on that a little bit, right? So you got that sense of things in there. So pull your knee down toward the floor, and then see if you can slide or pull your belly forward. And you should be feeling this in the outer part of that hip. Yeah, good. Good, good. So this is one of those ranges that can, so stay here. If you need to come out of this, if you kind of need to come back a little bit, you can. Otherwise, just kind of stay here and breathe. This can be very helpful if you've got issues with your low back, if you've got issues with your knee. It's not just your hip. A lot of times the tightness in the hip, in this rotation of the hip, can create some other problems that are a little distant from the hip itself. So we are really stretching that hip joint. And again, if you've had a hip replacement, you're just going to feel something a little bit different here. That's all. It's not that you shouldn't do this. It's that it's just going to be different. And then come back up. Great. Now, instead of just uncrossing the leg, so I don't want you to uncross your leg quite yet, what we're going to do is we're going to hold the back of that leg, bring the knee up toward the chin, right? But don't let the chin come down to the knee. So the chin is lifting up a little bit. You can hold the back of your leg, flex your foot. If you can, grab hold of your shin and bring your knee up a little bit more. And keep breathing. One more breath. If this is available, only if you can, grab your foot and hold your knee up, right? So some people are going to be able to do that. Some people are like, nope, that knee is not going to have any of that. I'm just going to stay right here because that's what's feeling okay. It should be a little bit of a challenge, whichever way you go. Good. And then slowly lower that down. Excellent. Just kind of notice left side, right side. And then let's switch. So left leg crosses over right. So here we are, or here we are, right? So we're somewhere in this general vicinity, right? Somewhere in the zip code. All right, so not using the hands. We're going to lift the knee up, and then we're going to pull the knee down. So lift it up and pull it down, right? And you can rest your hands wherever. They're just not going to be doing any work for you, right? So the next time that you pull your knee down, you'll hold here, and then you're going to slide. It's like you're trying to slide your belly forward, right? So you should feel this in that hip joint, in the back, maybe into the buttocks, maybe even into the low back, and then come back a little bit. So we'll do that a couple of times, just kind of bringing the belly forward and then back. Good. And this time as you come forward, you can stay here if you like, even if you don't like. So again, it's thinking about coming to that edge of discomfort, someplace that's a little bit of a challenge, or maybe it's a little more than a little bit of a challenge, but something that challenges you to do, to move or to be in a way that you are not comfortable, right? It's so easy to fall into that place of comfort. It's like, oh, I think I'll just stay here because this is comfortable. And that doesn't help us to grow. That actually can start to limit us, right? It's like the movement we did with the head, the first part of the class, right? So the range that you had is because that's the range you use all the time. We did a few exercises and your range changed, and it was like, wow, there was some discomfort to get there, but when we got there, it was like, wow, that's interesting. Okay, so come up out of that. Whoo-wee. Okay, so without uncrossing your legs quite yet, you're going to grab hold of the back of that leg, and you're going to bring that knee up toward the chin, but don't bring the chin down to the knee, right? So the chin stays up. And flex the foot so that the leg is active. And then if you can or you want to, you can hold onto your shin. If your knee will not have that, just hold onto the back of the leg. If you want to grab your foot if that works for you. Or you can go back to your shin. You can go back to here. You can do a combination, right? Maybe you do a combination of the foot and the shin, or the shin and the back of the leg. I'm giving you too many options now, right? It's like, I don't know what she's saying. And release all of that. Whew, excellent. Close your eyes. Breathing in and breathing out. Just take a moment and just notice. So starting with the things that we just did last, like the hips. Notice what your hips feel like in your low back, your knees, your ankles, your feet, your toes, right? We did a lot of work with the toes. We did work with the hands, right? We kind of snuck the hands in there. We were doing foot exercises and the hands just kind of jumped in. I love when we can kind of get a double dose of something. And then all the shoulder and neck work we did at the beginning, right? That just kind of showed us where we actually have more range if we choose to use it. And I guess that's the big thing, right? It's not about how old we are. It's about how much we use it. We can regain a whole lot of what we've lost just by tuning into it. Same thing with the breath. So that was the very first thing we did, was that box breathing, or the four-dimensional breathing, where we noticed breathing in and pausing, breathing out and pausing. So there's 4 parts to the breath. Let's settle back into that 4 parts, right? So just kind of notice inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding. And do it in a way that feels relaxed and comfortable. And then taking a nice deep breath and let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes open. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's feeling a little fall-like out there, so it's kind of nice and crisp. Thank you. You're welcome.